More than 20 years ago, my mother cried because in a span of 6 years, not one, not two, but 3 out of her 4 children were born profoundly deaf. As people with no hearing problems, my parents were at a loss like many people would be, until they first learned of cochlear implants. Research was done, observations were made, surgeries were pushed through, and finally, speech therapy was followed. This resulted in me being able to speak to you all about my experiences as a cochlear implant user. As much as I'd like to talk more about my parents' journey as parents of cochlear implanted children, this is another story to tell. I'll have you know that I'm grateful that they allowed me to hear and to speak. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Thank you also, Mad L. Once again, good day everyone. My name is Joanna. You can call me Mimi for short. I am now 24 years old. It has been 21 years. I am a cochlear implant user and I have an invisible disability. I have an invisible disability because not only I can converse with anyone and listen to music like any hearing person would, but also I can sleep peacefully with any loud noises like any deaf person would. I always tell my roommates this just in case this was their concern. Turns out I'm the noisy one because I talk a lot in my sleep. How embarrassing. This reminds me of how my parents would wish I could speak when I was younger. But now, they probably want me to be quiet because I became extremely talkative. Blame speech therapy. Just to clarify, I was born profoundly deaf on both ears and I only have one cochlear implant. Therefore, I am a unilateral user. With this, I usually have problems with finding the direction of sounds. Whenever my friends try to call me from afar, I always have to turn my head to find where they're calling me from. Having only one cochlear implant may work, but if you're considering two, it's not a bad idea either. Maybe even better. But no one really notices that I hear only on one side, not until I tell them. That's why I always have to inform people around me of my hearing impairment. Especially since I attend mainstream schools without shadow teachers. They would then know why if I don't immediately respond to their calls and why they may need to repeat things for me. Spreading awareness brings empathy from others and helps you find kind people around you. That's also how I found really great friends. So I encourage you all to proudly show that you are a cochlear implant user. It is, after all, a gift that connects us deaf people to the hearing world. If you don't notice, I am a very talkative person. My friends would know that I would become silent only because I've run out of batteries. In fact, it was during those moments when they remember, "Oh yeah, you're deaf." My friends were making fun of me, but they actually forget I'm deaf. I've had situations where I would be talking to a friend and then I receive a signal, ta 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 ta, indicating that my battery was running low. I'd have to stop the conversation midway, change my batteries, and then resume as if nothing happened. There's also another situation where I had to stop the class exam, specifically a dictated exam, where the teacher reads aloud the essay questions and everyone in class would have to wait for me to finish changing my batteries. It used to be a bit embarrassing, but they do get used to it. Plus, it was really nice of them not to make a fuss and to patiently wait for me. I was also really fortunate to have people around me to make me feel not so different. But the worst time to run out of batteries would be during an important event and I forget to bring batteries. It was painful to sit through the remaining time in silence. Being in the hearing world for so long, it felt so awkward knowing how much sounds I was missing out. So, my fellow cochlear implant users, be a responsible person and make sure to always bring a spare batteries so you do not make the same mistake as me. Still, isn't it impressive how there's such technology that allows deaf people to hear? My friends would say I was like Robocop, or basically a robot. When batteries work, I speak. When it runs low, I mute. Someone actually asked me if it was possible for my cochlear implant to function like a cell phone. In a way, someone could help me cheat in an exam and no one would know. Not that I'm encouraging cheating. But with the improvements of wireless technology, I wonder if cheating is possible. But seriously, don't cheat. I'd like to share more, but I believe it's time for me to wrap up. I'll say it again. Don't be ashamed to show your cochlear implant because technology is amazing and it has improved greatly. I haven't mentioned it earlier, but my first cochlear implant batteries used to be in a mini backpack. Now it is lightweight and convenient. It's been more than 20 years since MedL first brought cochlear implants to my country, Philippines. I've been hearing for 21 years. I've struggled to survive in the hearing world, and just last year, I graduated from a university. Finally! Now, I am here as a speaker. I am a cochlear implant user, and I have an invisible disability. Thank you for listening to me.